And we're talking today about online fandoms and construction of identities. In fact, I think the internet maybe is the place where people show off, yeah, and show their identity, where they position themselves, and show the way they want to be identified as. And you can see this on a daily basis, for example, on social media, especially in social media, this happens, no, not in the internet at all, but in social media. And you can see this, for example, in Twitter, or a platform formerly called Twitter. For example, like in these examples now, where I just randomly chose two characters here on the left side. This person positions herself as a horse lover, a boy's mom. Apparently, she likes to be at the sea. Yeah, she asks for more sea, please. And there's always also an affiliation to Star Wars. And on the right side, we have an ABBA fan, or somebody who is at least positions herself as queer. And this is the way, yeah, we have different identities and different things, and some of these parts we show off and some not. And of course, the matters of interest somehow display our identity. And thank you to the poll. I know now a little bit more about your identities. Yeah, thank you very much for all of you who participated. I grouped this here already a little bit in preparation of the task we will be doing afterwards. And I had some very interesting, very specific kind of characteristics of you. I don't know if this is really the fandom is then an identity, but some are more general, and some are really distinct, I would say. For example, someone of you is fan or interested in a German punk band I never have heard of Acht Eimer Hühnerherzen. Yeah, thank you for bringing this up to my knowledge. Or somebody is interested in Russian stand-up comedy. Yeah, and I try to group this a little bit, but maybe you recognize shades of your own identities in these groups here. At least I hope so. So today I will give an introduction at the beginning. I hope it won't last too long, because the idea is that then you go to breakout rooms and make your own observations, yeah, on real happening social media discussions. In order to be prepared for these for your breakout activity afterwards, of course I give some keywords during my presentation now, and you maybe you want to especially pay attention to the green terms in the following slides, because they give already hints to things that can be observed in social media discussions on identity and fandom. So where am I here? Slide 5. But first of all, a short history of identity. I try to keep it really short. The identity thoughts of identity are rather young. Yeah, in pre-modern times, yeah, in the medieval, actually there was not this idea of identity. Actually, as Kant said, people lived in a faithful devotion, yeah, without reflecting actually who they are and where they belong to, and so on. Yeah, it was given by, I don't know, religions, and no one really thought of it. But then Kant came up, and among others in the Enlightenment, asking people to dare to know, sapere aude, yeah, his famous quote, and people started thinking, where am I from? To where do I belong? And this was very often connected to origins, to an idea of continuity. Yeah, there I belong to, and I will always belong to. And a side effect was the rise of nationalism. Yeah, since the Enlightenment. And then some centuries happened, and we had the Second World War and all the after Second World War things. By the way, I have to clarify this, of course, from my point of view and positioning myself. It's a very Eurocentric view I'm giving here of identity. Yeah, so sorry for this, but this is where I am scholarly attached to. Yeah, so after Second World War, we enter new rooms of discussions. We have the postmodern phase. Individualization takes a bigger step, and these ideas that before were so usual, yeah, were tackled. Yeah, new ideas like post-colonialism or feminism came up and gave maybe never more than now this idea and options of individuality. And identity now is not where am I from or to where do I belong, but who do I want to be, or how did I develop to be as I am? So you have this idea of changing or hybridity of identities. So, of course, we want to look to see how identity is constructed narratively. Yeah, and I have here three kind of quotes from linguistic and communicative performances. The narrative identity can be deduced. Or another one, similar one, identity is a narrative project and permanent change. Or here again, Deppermann, linguist, again, identity is an autobiographical self-representation. Now, this sounds a little bit maybe academic, but what they want to say is that your identity can be deduced from what you say and from what you write. Yeah, so whenever you say something or you position yourself or you give an utterance, other people can deduce a little bit what your identity is, theoretically. And this isn't only taking place in a theoretical room, but also in the internet. Yeah, because if I see here linguistic and communicative performance, this can be a tweet. Yeah, a tweet can be a linguistic and communicative performance. Or a narrative project in permanent change is a Facebook timeline. Yeah, a narrative project in permanent change. And an autobiographical self-representation probably is nothing different than an Instagram feed. Yeah, so we are here already very much into digital communication. Okay, go to the next slide. So, in fact, our identity construction, yeah, the way we construct identity helps us to manage a balance act. Yeah, I don't know if balance act here is the right translation for the German listeners. I would use the term Spagat here. Yeah, so maybe it's a balance act. There is an inner and an outer orientation of ourselves. Yeah, and on the one hand, or you, all of you, but I myself, my identity gives me a self-awareness, who I am. It makes sure that I can develop, yeah, in a way I want to develop. And it tells me that I am distinctive, yeah, that nobody else is like I am. So it's very egocentric part of identity. But identity is more than just my own ego or your egos, but it also attaches you to a group. Yeah, all of us, we want to take part in groups, and there's this idea of cohesion. And by my identity, for example, as a football fan, yeah, I affiliate to another group. So we have this balance act of identity. On the one hand, distinctive I, and on the other hand, affiliated we, part of a we identity. You can see this fairly well in this example here. On the left side, I have found a person from playing the online game Sims. Don't know if you happen to know it. And in Sims, you can create an avatar, and this person created an avatar that identically looks like herself. Yeah, so it's super distinctive. Yeah, by presenting herself. By the way, this is what we call a persona. Yeah, persona is the aspect of yourself, of somebody that is presented to other people. This is the persona, and this is in the left side here. Hyper distinctive, I would say. Yeah, it's up to the smallest details of the avatar is copied from her vision of herself or who she is. On the other side, on the right side, I looked into a Star Wars forum, and there also you find avatars, yeah, people who represent themselves with an image, but these are not distinctive. Yeah, they chose a random figure of a stormtrooper. Yeah, and stormtroopers are not really known for being very distinctive and individual. But anyway, no, people in this group here chose this idea of being part of a group. Even more, yeah, I can imagine they chose it for good reasons, yeah, because they want to affiliate to a subgroup within the Star Wars community, yeah. They are here on the dark side and so on. Yeah? They didn't choose Yoda or Obi-Wan Kenobi or so on, but they chose a stormtrooper, yeah. So there's also a good reason, and this tells about identity, yeah, of the users here. So if we look at fandoms, we can, at least according to something I read in Goldman 2022, we can distinguish consumers and fans in a way. Probably it is in a way that a consumer is somebody viewing something as a regular private act, and you start being a fan if you are active with this topic. Yeah? If this topic gathers that importance for you, that you appropriate in a way and do activities around it. Yeah, if you remember these Michael Jackson singers at the beginning, according to this, they are not consumers. No, they don't sit at home in their living rooms and listen to Michael Jackson music, but they actively reproduce it, meet with other people, make a new version of it, upload it, and so on. Yeah, so this is would be then a truly indicator for fandom. Of course, it's something we could discuss in the Global Campus Forum too. I'm not so sure if this idea I took from Goldman is so clear, that or you are a fan or you're a consumer. I would prefer to go more with an idea which came up from Jürgen Beuthen, that belonging to groups is in grades of belonging. Yeah, it's not the question, are you a fan or are you not a fan? And you cannot say, I am the true fan and you are not a true fan because you don't sing your own Michael Jackson songs and so on. But it depends on a grade of belonging. And to give you an example, I have here two screenshots too. On the left side, we see somebody who plays Star Wars online games and streams this also. Yeah, this is already maybe a very kind of intense way of belonging. At least it's this person seems to belong more to the Star Wars community than I do, for example, because I don't do this kind of creative appropriation. But maybe probably it's nothing in comparison to the couple here on the right side, which chose to marry, to put a wedding date on the 4th of May. So May the 4th, they are marrying and organizing the whole ceremony around their Star Wars affiliation. Again, a look at the fandom cultures. There are, again, two levels, an individual level and a group level. I want to draw your attention to. On the one side, on an individual level, you want to be identified as a fan. So again, we have this idea of we-identity, and you want to establish your own identity within the fan group. Yeah, so on the one side, you want to be identified as it from the outer world, for example, or also from other fans of the same topic of interest, but you want to have your own role within a fan group. Kind of often, not always it's like this, yeah, but somehow you want to be still distinctive within a fandom community. Probably this is on a group level. This is now something new in comparison to what I talked about before. On group discussion levels, yeah, you can see demarcation narratives, yeah, because they're truly kind of the real fans argue with people who they declare as normal users or ignorant users and so on. And the more fan you are, yeah, then the more you feel attached to the other kind of true fans or nerdy fans of a franchise, for example. One second. And another thing which is important on a group level for a fandom culture is are the joint actions. Yeah, so you have continuous joint actions, and by actions you establish an everyday culture. Yeah, therefore a fandom is a culture. Yeah, we don't take cultures. You may have seen this already in our other lectures as Italian, German, French, and Chinese as a culture. But yeah, a group of people doing things together, following social rules together, and this is an online fandom group, yeah, not only online fandoms, but any fandom group is in a way functions as like cultures do function. And now that we already started thinking about culturality of fandoms, of course, maybe you have experienced this yourself already. If you ever have been to a fan group where you didn't really feel a strong belonging. Yeah, for example, I can imagine if I were for the first time in a cricket stadium, yeah, I would feel like in an intercultural situation. Yeah, there's this feeling of uncertainty. What is going on here? What will happen next? So what is the next step? Now, this unpredictability, wouldn't know what to chant and what action would be an appropriate action, and when in the hell is the halftime break in order to have my beer, not even knowing if beer is here the proper drink or if this is what just a cultural appropriation from a football stadium. Yeah, so these feelings of uncertainty and yeah, these kind of intercultural situative feelings you can experience in fan groups. Yeah, if you are not, or if you don't have the feeling that you understand what is going on here. To come to an interim conclusion, so we have seen that for an individual, an online fandom is a significant life world. Now we have here again a term from cultural studies. Now this life world idea. And then in online fandoms, the social rules are negotiated discursively. Yeah, there's not some ruler saying this is our rule, these are our rules, but on a social level, you discuss how you live together and how you manage your representations within this fandom. And this is from the social rules discussed within the community, but also influenced from outer worlds. Yeah, it's again a very cultural idea here. And thirdly, we have this online fandom, which is influenced by the members themselves, but in a constant change. Yeah, a fan culture also is changing, like whatever we thought and argue when we talk about cultures. So definitely, I want to stress that we are here, that it's not, that indeed we are here in an intercultural lecture, and it's not about something off cultural topics because we're talking about online fandom, but it's indeed very cultural what we are doing here. We're very much attached to cultural studies, or even more to intercultural studies. And since we are taking them to the digital sphere, we also have this notion of digital culturality or digital interculturality here. So now for the last few minutes, I want to give you some looks into some researches. I have been doing some of them together with some of my colleagues, some of them here also, and to find out how social cohesion or which dynamics these discussions in online settings have, and to see how social cohesion is constructed there. I will talk about the corpora maybe when I talk about the examples. So something very oftenly found or very simple, maybe in order to create a cohesion, a feeling of togetherness in a fan group. If you talk online, you don't see the other person in persona, personally, so in real life, but somehow you want to express that you belong to the same group and so on. You have these ideas of fraternization, sometimes really intense and high fraternizations. Here, for example, this is taken from a from a fans of the Argentine football national football team who live in Bangladesh and Argentina. By the way, this is not a rare thing, no? But the Argentinian team is highly popular in Bangladesh. And then of course there are Twitter groups or Facebook groups and so on, or you find on YouTube videos, for example, about the national team. You find the discussion threads, and you can read how people interact there and how they are sending themselves to the others. Unconditional love, for example, here by Ultra Views, in unconditional love for Argentina, love from Bangladesh, Yeah, this is great. Yeah, I would love to get unconditional love from somebody. So yeah, this is a unique thing. You actually you only express this in internet in this way. I can in this pathetic, over pathetic way. And on the other hand, yeah, somebody from Argentina, yeah, um, reacts on this, like sending or stating that Argentina and Bangladesh will always be brothers. Yeah, so there's this idea of fraternization. No? You take, actually, you are the internet here, but you take people who are very, very far away, like 16,000 kilometers away, into your innerst circle. Yeah, this is part of your family. Actually, your family is living in your own home. Yeah, and here, by these narrations of fraternization, you break these borders of 16,000 kilometers. It's a very cosmopolitan idea too, and there will be an article coming out about this soon. And by the way, maybe I can allude here. No, they're not only right typing it, but also using the adequate and understandable little symbols, no, like shaking hands or embracing somebody. So we have this one was the first one. We continue. Social cohesion also takes place by using a language register, yeah, a tone or a way or yeah, a vocabulary which is specific for a certain situation. This is taken from another YouTube comment section where it is a video about the Greek football team. Playing notably a good game some years ago against Spain. It ended 1-1, the draw 1-1, and this was a surprise, because Spain was expected to win, to highly win. And there is an interesting YouTube thread, comment thread of people supporting or cheering for the Greek team and congratulating how good they are. And they are using the vocabulary here. It's German, but I put English translations here. Well, it's always difficult to translate these kind of registers. I hope I got the tone, because they're talking in a way as if they were themselves on the pitch there, yeah, if they were in the stadium and cheering and saying, let's go there and so on, and the boys are on fire, things like this, or also these kind of negatively connotations, which yeah, you can say in a football stadium, but you wouldn't say this, for example, in a, I don't know, a parliamentary debate or something like this. Yeah, so you use the same language from the field, and if you share this language, you share something together, and this creates a social cohesion. So next point, to put some water into the cohesive wine, maybe. Of course, it's easier to construct we if there is a them, yeah, the others too, and from the same corpus of football fans. I have it here too. Yeah, the cohesion also takes place because there is this alien, this demonized others. In this case, it was the Spanish soccer team or the players of the Spanish soccer team. And yeah, by allying with the other writers here in the thread, in the forum, you can create a feeling of belonging, yeah, because it's us versus them, yeah. So have these discourses of othering, and by this, yeah, in this social media discussion, a cohesion is created, yeah, a feeling that this is we, and I can attach to it because, yeah, the other person there somewhere else writing on the computer don't know where he or she is living and what he or she is doing, but he or she hates the Spanish team as much as I do, so I feel connected to this person. Yeah, this gives me a feeling of belonging and strengthens my identity. Another thing that you can find quite often is appeals or connections to a collective mind or shared memory. Yeah, things that only insiders will understand. You will find this a lot if you're in online forums. Yeah, that people talk about things without giving the whole context because they know that the others who are part of the group understand the context without any discussion. And if people don't understand the context, so the meaning, because they don't know the context, they are not part of the community. Yeah, and this is kind of a indicator of being part of a community or not. Yeah, if you come up with an illusion and maybe you understand it or you don't. Yeah, so I can imagine that a lot of people who look at a video thread and see this posting of this gives me flashbacks of the year 2004 wouldn't be understood. Yeah, unless, yeah, I cannot see you now and make a poll here who understands it or not, unless you are a member of a certain age. Yeah, maybe if you're too young, you wouldn't remember it, or you wouldn't remember the importance, and of a football fandom community. And you may remember then that in 2004, the Greek football team won the European Championship, which was a huge surprise and yeah, big thing then. And of course, especially for Greek fans of the Greek team, yeah, this is a milestone in memory, yeah, about football. And the memory, yeah, you can bring it up also like 20 years later with a short, just one-liner, and people who are part of your community, yeah, of your same interests and so on, will understand, and all the others, you don't have to care about them, because no, the meaning of writing it is to distinguish who is part of it and who not. And by all these 142 here thumbs up and 17 responses, you see that this created an impact. Yeah, it created an impact because people felt like they were addressed to by this. Good. Let's see, we continue. Yeah, I just have talked already about the thumb up, and this is a very banal and simple but highly used option of reciprocity actions in social media. And there are other possibilities, of course, of telling or being reciprocal. Here, yeah, we see two more examples. Again, from the soccer corpus. Yeah, that yeah. You tell, if you support us, yeah, next time, if you support us, then we will also support you. Or here on the right side, on the top right side, a person from Argentina who was so happy about so many people in Bangladesh supporting the national football team, build up a group supporting the cricket team of Bangladesh, and a way of paying it back, or yeah, giving it back, this favor. And even more, since in cricket there's the same common enemy. Now we have this topic again, because the major, one of the major cricket opponents of Bangladesh is England. Yeah, and one of the major football opponents, or maybe ever time history opponents of Argentina, is England too. So yeah, you have again this idea, we have a shared enemy. We are unified or joining kind of post-colonial struggle, and therefore, yeah, we can attach to each other, even though we are living 16,000 kilometers away. So we have these actions of reciprocity. I have to hurry a little bit. I'm seeing. I try to do this quickly now. So another point is that we have positionings by grades of belonging and ownership. I try to do this really quickly. Here we have a discussion from Memory Alpha, which is kind of Wikipedia for Star Trek fans. Yeah, so it's an encyclopedia for Star Trek fans, and they are discussing, for example, or writing articles about, in this case, a non-binary character, Diratal. And in this discussion, people join from different perspectives. Yeah, some of them are pretty big track fans, yeah, like here, and also a queer pretty big track fan. Yeah, we have already two identifications. No, this person has a high grade of belonging to queerness topics and to Star Trek topics. Another one says, yeah, I'm a long-term lurker of Memory Alpha. So this, of course, this community, Memory Alpha, is a culture itself also. And the final point is what you also can find in fandom communities again is this creative appropriation. No? For example, here like people, Harry Potter fans, rewriting the story, yeah, or retelling it. Yeah, they take this topic of their interest and rewrite what they are interested in, writing their own fan fictions. They can share this in the internet. They can get reviews, favorites, follows, and so on. So again, actions of reciprocity, and this is also something you find often. So here, if you have paid attention, or maybe you haven't, but if you haven't, you find here once more all the key terms. I will not repeat them, all of them, but I will support you during the exercise in a minute, but I will want to give you some more minutes for your exercise. So these are the key terms. You will get them handed out also in a second, but you also can take a screenshot now if you want, and then I'm going to explain you the exercise as it will follow, because I'm now very much interested in bringing you into online fandom discussions and to find examples, just a small number of examples, just in order to get into the discussion of the topic, how internet users tell their identity, tell who they are and position themselves, and how they create a social cohesion in these online discussion rooms. Yeah, and therefore we will do the following. I hope Carmen is already preparing breakout rooms in on the back end here. You can choose this time freely the breakout room you want to go to. Yeah, in some minutes you will see 10 different options according to your interests. Yeah, this is why I asked so curiously for them. It's not so important how many people are in one breakout room. Yeah, just choose a topic you are interested in. And then when you are in your breakout room, you should decide rather quickly, if possible, to visit a website of your choice, which somehow is connected to the topic of interest. Yeah, for example, you can go to a blog, or you can go to a YouTube video, for example, about K-pop is one of the options. Yeah, and then you scroll down to the comment section and you have a look at how these people interact in the comment section, how they position themselves, what they are writing, if maybe there are some appeals to a collective mind, yeah, so insider jokes that only people understand if they are from this group, and so on. Yeah, so again, you have this list of key terms beforehand, demarcation, narrations, like the others are like this, but we are this way, and so on. Yeah, and there are different options to go to Facebook groups. You can look at certain hashtags, you can visit Instagram, Reddit, and so on. Then as a group, you should observe these conversations and then create a short collection of evidence. So take screenshots of the important things you see there. And I'm going to share now in the chat, if I find the chat here. Yep. I'm going to share a link where you find a PowerPoint presentation, which is empty. Yeah, so the first 5 slides are not empty. There's again these keynotes, these key points, and the explanation of the activities on the first 5 slides. But then after the 6th slide, it's your space. Yeah, and every group gets one page there and has the possibility to insert there just randomly, yeah, the screenshots you take, yeah, the notions of social cohesion and positionings of identity you find in your online corpora, and choose a spokesperson, very important in each of your groups. And we will meet here again about 1:05 or 1:10, something like this, and then shortly summarize what you got and what you found.